when you're starting, big shapes first. Don't start shading until you kind of got your general proportions right. And this takes a while of back and forth where you're kind of making sure things are angled the same way, your size relationships are right. Pay attention to the negative space that things make wherever they're at. Pay attention to the angles. Shadow shapes are just as important as the shapes on the forms. Now, 99% of this drawing, I can get done with this vine charcoal. We're also going to use some compressed charcoal. Vine charcoal, give a quick value scale with vine charcoal. Give a quick gradient, not very dark. It's almost, what do you call it, charcoal black or charcoal gray. That's for a reason. You can smudge it with your fingers. I like to kind of pat it down. Because if you smudge it, if you notice, it's gonna go back and forth. Sometimes I'll get some charcoal on my fingers and just pat it down too. Hand pressure, dig it in there layer by layer. This does erase very easy. This is why we use it. Erase is very easy. Now, compressed charcoal. Look at this value scale. Super, super dark. I'm barely touching it, and this is how dark it's getting. Barely even touching it. Super, super dark. When I try to erase, it stains, you can, but after a while, it's gonna leave a big, nasty stain. Charcoal pencil, it's the same thing as compressed charcoal, but in pencil form, so you can get a little bit more detail in some fine little areas. But when I start with this. Now pay attention to your lights and your darks. So if I look at the lightest area, I wanna say wherever the light is hitting. So the light is coming from this side. So these are gonna be your lightest areas, closest to the light. Also, if the light is up, anything that's on the top. Now, if I squint my eyes, I can see some 10s, meaning this is the darkest darks. And this is the point where there's no light getting through, and this is called the occlusion. So light is being taken away, and it's usually the closest space between two objects. Right in here, this is my darkest dark, right down in here. This is when I'm gonna use a little tiny bit of compressed charcoal or vine charcoal. Don't get carried away. Don't start using that compressed charcoal or vine charcoal for everything, because then your values aren't gonna match. You're gonna get a drawing that looks too dark. So what do I start? Turn to the side, start laying down my darks. And I'm paying attention to the shape of the shadow. I'm just laying it down right now. This is what we call the ugly phase. I don't really use it as much because everything is work in progress, but I've heard some other artists call this the ugly phase, right? Where things kind of look a little bit messy. They don't look really good. And that's okay. Well, it's not supposed to, it's not magic. It's not gonna miraculously turn itself into the greatest drawing in the world. So I'm gonna just block this in, give myself something to work with. You'll still kind of keep the form, but if you make a mistake at this phase, no big deal, you can always fix it.